It's the final day of June, Friday, June 30th, 2023, and this is the Washington Times front page. Thanks for joining us. I'm George Gerbo. The Supreme Court has ruled that race-based affirmative action programs at colleges and universities violate the Constitution's guarantees of equal treatment. Alex Sawyer and Stephen Dinan report Chief Justice John Roberts, writing the key opinion, said students must be treated on the basis of their experiences as an individual, not on the basis of race. The 6-3 ruling doesn't ban the mention of race in students' applications or block a school from evaluating a candidate's experiences with race. But the court said schools can no longer defend policies that claim to try to find the right racial mix of students for an incoming class, which the justices said ends up reducing students to the color of their skin. Both Harvard and the University of North Carolina said they needed to advantage Black and Hispanic students in order to achieve enough diversity to enhance the educational experience for all students. Roberts said that amounted to racial balancing, which he said is patently unconstitutional under the 14th Amendment's Equal Protection Clause. Writing in the minority, his colleague Ketanji Brown Jackson said it was ostrich-like nonsense that reeked of let-them-eat-cake obliviousness toward what was actually going on at America's schools and in its communities. The California Reparations Task Force has sent its report to Governor Gavin Newsom and the state legislature, who will decide whether the Golden State will pay billions of dollars in benefits to Black descendants of slavery. Valerie Richardson reports the task force members urged the crowd at its final meeting to pressure lawmakers to approve the recommendations in the 1,100-page report. They include a formal state apology and a state agency to administer reparations programs, as well as tangentially related proposals to end the death penalty, limit rents in formerly redlined areas, and overturn Proposition 209, which bans public affirmative action programs. Those eligible for compensation are Black residents who are descendants of American slaves or of free Black people who lived before the end of the 19th century. Russian President Vladimir Putin appears to have survived the mutiny launched by the Wagner Group mercenaries last weekend. His top generals, however, may not be so lucky. Dave Sands reports the disappearance from public view of two key Russian commanders, General Sergei Surovikin and General Staff Chief Valery Gerasimov, have sparked speculation that one or both have been purged. Analysts said the fallout from the mutiny has left Putin with two unpalatable choices: stick with the current commanders who are widely seen as having failed so far in Ukraine, or appear to bow to pressure and make major changes in personnel. An IRS whistleblower claims a Biden family business associate told the FBI that President Biden met several times with Chinese energy companies on behalf of his son, Hunter. Susan Ferricchio reports the whistleblower says the associate, Rob Walker, told the FBI the meeting started when Biden was vice president and continued as he prepared to launch his 2020 presidential run. The FBI interviewed Walker as part of a tax fraud investigation into Hunter. And finally, the Government Accountability Office says the Biden administration flew more than 400 government officials to 2 UN climate change conferences in Scotland and Egypt over the last 2 years. Stephen Dinan reports at least 192 people flew to the annual global warming talks in 2021, held in Scotland, and 260 people to the talks last year in Egypt. The GAO was not able to calculate the exact carbon footprint of the U.S. delegation, though it did say the State Department's 66 employees who flew from Washington to Egypt for last year's gathering accounted for 85.7 metric tons. The UN said travel accounts for nearly 3/4 of all greenhouse gas emissions attributable to the conference. Find all today's front page stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page or on the Washington Times app, and find us wherever you find your podcasts. Just search Washington Times in your favorite podcast app. You can also find us on Twitter and Instagram at Wash Times for breaking news, sports, commentary, and more. For the Washington Times, I'm George Gerbo.